So some information came out today about Sony and possibly having some new hardware to announce, and it might not be the hardware that people kind of think. And I thought that this would be a very interesting video to cover right now because this is literally like breaking news. And I know everybody out there, everybody in the world loves breaking news. And apparently Sony is actually planning to announce some new hardware, including something that Microsoft has already done. Now, are they stealing from Microsoft? Is this a Microsoft idea? You know, it's funny because we see a lot of this stuff pop up lately, right? We see where a lot of people are accusing, Bethesda of actually ripping off No Man's Sky. There's some similarities there, of course. I think mostly people just like to kind of bitch and complain about this stuff. But at the end of the day, I feel like two completely separate things. Now, this instance, it's hard saying. The funny thing to me is being a fan of both Tomb Raider and Uncharted series, it's kind of odd because the PlayStation fans will never compare the two, or they'll say, oh, they're nothing alike. But then they'll be the first ones to point out No Man's Sky and the Starfield comparisons, right? Which I just thought is a little bit funny. Or like Ghost of Tsushima, great game, very similar in gameplay mechanics to Assassin's Creed, and you can't bring that up to PlayStation fans because they won't admit it. So we kind of live in this weird world. But anyway, according to this new report, Sony has a PlayStation 5 Pro controller. Now, listen, I have to be honest. The Xbox Series X controller, or the Xbox Elite 2 controller, I have one right here, is absolutely hands down one of the best controllers, if not the best controller I've ever owned. It is absolutely the weight to it, the fact that you can control it and, put different buttons on it and pop use whatever. I just find this to be just the best controller. It is absolutely fantastic. The way that you can adapt it and, kind of make it so that it works that much better for you. I think that it's that cool. I love that. So the fact that Sony might be working on their own, I think that's a really cool thing. Now, is this a rip-off kind of deal? Listen, Scuff was out before. I can remember back in the 360 days, people used to have those Scuff controllers, and everybody was accused of modding, right? Oh, you're a modder. You're modding, aren't you? I remember we used to run game battles back in the day on like Call of Duty 4 and stuff like that. And the funny thing was seeing people would complain about some people that were on our team, and the typical response that we give if people would accuse us of modding or having modded controllers was saying, no, we have paintball fingers, paintball fingers, because when you play paintball, you're very fast with your shot. So that's what we used to say. But I want to get into this video and kind of get into exactly what's going on with Sony and what I think about this. Now, listen, I'm all for it. Extra stuff like this I think is really cool, but I'm going to get into this whole leak and what it means and all that stuff right now. So this comes by way of our old buddy Tom Henderson, who did an article about this. They're actually planning to reveal this claim. The new console isn't being lined up, but something else entirely. Sony Interactive Entertainment is reportedly getting ready to announce several new hardware products, including a PS5 Pro controller. In a report published on Tryhard Guides, insider Tom Henderson claims to have heard from several sources that the platform holder will unveil new hardware at the end of June, although this won't include a new console. Described to Henderson as a genuine professional controller, quote-unquote, for the PlayStation 5, the new pad will reportedly feature removable analog sticks, grips, trigger stops, and back paddles. Henderson said he was provided with images of the alleged prototype for the PS5 Pro controller, which is claimed to have significant software upgrades. Following reports of the delay, it was recently claimed that Sony will confirm a November release for God of War Ragnarok later this month as well. While unclear, it's speculated that Sony could be planning to announce the game's release date as part of a wider event, which also includes the reveal of a new PlayStation hardware. Sony held its latest State of Play livestream earlier in the month. It featured reveals and updates, many that were mainly considered for focus on PlayStation games from third parties and some PlayStation VR stuff. So, again, a Pro controller, what do I think about that? I think that it's an interesting tactic. It's an interesting thing for them to actually do, and I think that it's probably long overdue to do something first party wise in this vein. The reason why I say that is because Microsoft has been doing this for years now, and they seem to sell very well. You have a hard time finding these elite controllers and these custom controllers and things like that. And I feel like it's about time that they actually went out there and did that and was a little bit competitive. I mean, listen, Microsoft wouldn't keep coming out with these type of controllers if they didn't continue to sell well and just be something that people are really after on a continual basis. So yeah, I think that that's really cool that they were able to go out there and do that. Now, for the long term, what is this going to mean for PlayStation and PlayStation fans and things like that? I think it'll kind of be a little bit different experience for us going forward. But, I think it'll be cool if they could keep this thing priced right, and I think it has to be priced under $200, then I think that that's going to be where they're going to have to land. They're going to have to definitely land at that price, and they're going to have to continue to offer this fantastic value to people that, that obviously it makes the most sense. Like, I think that it has to also have the features that are already available in the DualSense, because the DualSense is already such a fantastic controller. I think that it just obviously we need to see those features into like a pro style with the ability to take off the sticks and maybe have paddles on the back or something along those lines, and that's exactly what we should get. So yeah, listen, I think this is a smart move. People looking for me to hate on it, absolutely not going to happen. Having something out there that is for the people that, for those of us who are like the super hardcore, I think that makes sense. I mean, look, Microsoft sold millions of their elite controllers, so I think that makes a ton of sense to go out and do that and offer something similar. This whole somebody else did it first, blah blah blah, whatever. Like, guess what, there's a whole group of pro Xbox YouTubers out there doing what Crap Gamer did in 2014, right? So old ideas become new, things get taken, rearranged, switched up, whatever. It is what it is. Having that out there, even more competition, more of a reason for Microsoft to take that serious if they ever do an Elite 3.0, because I think that that's going to make a ton of sense down the line, because there are a lot of people that realistically want these types of controllers, and we keep seeing them kind of push for these new controllers and things like that. So yeah, very exciting time. Good on Microsoft, good on Sony. I think it's going to take a lot of time for that to kind of sink in, that Sony is going to do something like that, but it makes all the sense in the world. I love my Elite 2. I love the Elite 1. I have 2 of those as well. Those are just really quality controllers. Having something a little bit heavier, maybe with the built-in battery or maybe with the ability to switch out the batteries, I don't know. But I think that would make the most sense to me to do something a little bit different. And, that's probably what they're aiming for right here. So with that being said, I want to take a minute out to say thank you to everybody. If you do watch my video, please leave a like on the video. It helps it to be seen and it helps the channel to grow. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up, fact 'em up, Crap Gamer 'em up. As always, you guys are great. Crap Gamer out.